Welcome to Blockchain in the Metaverse. I'm your host, futurist Amelia Kallman. Today, we are going to talk all things cryptocurrency. Now, I have to admit that while a lot of my research and reports and keynotes have to do with XR and the Metaverse and Web3, when it comes to crypto, I still have a lot to learn and a lot of questions. That's why I am thrilled to welcome Claudia Olah, the Director of Marketing for VCORE, a new meta token that rewards community engagement and empowers millions of users worldwide to shape the future of the metaverse. Welcome, Claudia. I can't wait to hear more about VCORE coming to market and what that means for MetaJuice and InView, as well as discuss the broader picture of how people can get started in crypto and where the market is now and where it's all headed. So to begin, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and what it is that you do today?
So I've been in the industry since 2018, like the crypto industry in Shanghai. And then I came over to the US during the pandemic. And then that's when I found the Metaverse company, Together Labs, and also MetaJuice. And I've been spearheading the marketing efforts for our new cryptocurrency, VCORE, ever since. It's been a really wild ride, and it's really nice to be part of the team and everything that we're going to accomplish with VCORE. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about it a bit today.
Awesome. Thrilled to have you. Thanks. Why should people invest in crypto? Is now a good time?
If I would give you any advice on cryptocurrencies and investing, etc., is to use the current market conditions to your advantage, right? Like most of these companies, I've been in the industry since 2018. I've been through a lot of crypto ups and downs, and usually the companies that can stand the storm are worth investing in because they understand the market, they understand business, they have a successful team, they have a real product.
And Claudia, I know you were involved in a Bitcoin ATM company, and then you even founded your own, which is so impressive. How have you seen the industry develop, and where will VCORE sit in the marketplace?
Well, I actually started my career in Shanghai. I worked with crypto exchanges, various platforms where people would have like a real use for the crypto. Through the platform, you could buy like even an e-commerce platform that also had an exchange. So I had this experience of Ethereum kind of alternate coins, which are like another type of project off of Ethereum tokens. And then when I came to the US, I was introduced to Bitcoin ATMs, which is really like a really simple way of investing. You literally put cash in, and then there's a transfer from your Bitcoin wallet to the customer's Bitcoin wallet. It's a really easy way for people to get involved. You have a paper wallet, or you can have an electronic wallet. And my family and I actually started that kind of business. It was to get my mom involved because she's new to crypto, like it's hard for her to understand like how to get on exchange and the simplicities of all of that. Like it's just not that simple, So we started this company on top of that, and actually we still kind of run it on the side. But my mom, my brother really handle a lot of that. So it's a nice little family business we've going on. VCORE is kind of like a mix of these, it's very much like a crypto that we know and we can buy on exchange and we can use basically anywhere, but it's also going to have that simplicity of actually being on the metaverse, like seamlessly integrated. Users will be able to use it just like they do, almost like credits. There's going to be a built-in integration. It's not going to feel like you have to keep all of this information and it's so out of your depth and realm, and there's a million steps to kind of figure out like an exchange. It's just going to be like maybe like one extra step, and then they have this crypto that they can value that's their own, and then they can move it from other exchanges and kind of go through that whole process if they want to, but they can also just use it on platform if they want. So it's kind of like a mix between the two.
Cool. Very cool. What are you looking for when you're looking to invest in a crypto? What gets you interested, and maybe what sends up red flags?
I personally, I'd say look at the team, look at the project, actually read the white paper. I know that sometimes they're long, but it's good to actually like go with a reputable company that's been around for a while, that understands the space, that understands the business, because at the end of the day, I mean, if the business fails, so does the token. So you really want to kind of dip your toes in the right ones, if that makes sense, or something that you're passionate about, you know? But yeah, I mean, Ethereum, Bitcoin are like the main ones that I would test first. I would definitely get into those first because they are the longest ones in the game. They've been around since 2009, 2015. They've already proved to be like a real value in the market. So yeah, I would definitely start with those and then, explore.
And I also want to ask you a bit about the new meta token, VCORE, and what do you think that impact is going to be on the future of metaverses like InView and the future of other metaverses?
Well, VCORE will be a true like metaverse token in every way possible. Within the MVU metaverse, it'll be a way for people to own, to shape, and to earn in the metaverse, which is kind of like a new capability all over the place. Metaverse tokens are known for being kind of an economic environment, like a true economy on the platforms that they operate on. VCore will be that, but also when we built VCore, it was with the intentionality of launching on two metaverses. So we have this one in view, which is massive with 1 million daily active users, 40,000 rooms, 200,000 creators, like it's just a massive ecosystem. And then we have a new metaverse called With Me that's in beta mode right now. And so we're launching on these two. The real goal of VCore kind of overall is to work across not only our metaverses, but other metaverse ecosystems, work on other platforms. People will be able to take it like almost automatically on another crypto exchange onto the platform as well. So this kind of like interoperability, which means like moving your asset, your currency from one to the other, and eventually maybe even your assets will be really possible with VCore. So I'm excited to to share it with everyone.
And real quick, just to clarify, what's the difference between a meta token and a cryptocurrency?
A metaverse token is just like a new word that people are coining. It's really a cryptocurrency that is made for that metaverse or for the metaverse. So VCore was made for our specific metaverses, but we see it more as a metaverse token as a whole, which, it's just like the universe. There's like multiple universes within the universe. The metaverse is the same. It's multiple metaverses within like the metaverse. So we see it more as like the metaverse token.
Gotcha. Cool. And I wanted to ask you, one of the values that I have as a futurist comes around advocating for tech responsibility. And I know that there has been a lot of buzz around the environmental impact of things like NFTs and blockchain and crypto. And I always say that we cannot sacrifice our physical world for our digital worlds. Are you seeing the industry address these concerns? And if so, are there any examples that you can share?
I mean, I see this in two parts, right? When I think of environment, I think of sustainability. Um, with the new, I mean, this might be a little too high tech, but the new Ethereum merge, which is basically 2.0 version, it's going to create a lot more less environmental impact, like a lot less energy consumption. So when you think of energy consumption in the space, which is whenever you do a transaction, etc., within the network, I think Bitcoin, there was like a really cool comparison I saw the other day where it's like the Burj Khalifa, like when it comes to energy consumption, and then the Ethereum, when it was proof of work, was basically the Leaning Tower of Pisa kind of energy consumption. And then when you look at the 2.0, there's a high potential of it being like a screw, like a
Oh,
single
wow.
screw, yeah, of energy consumption, which is really cool because when you think of that, like that's like a 99% energy reduction of, yeah, and right now that's the main problem with Ethereum is it's high energy, high costs to do everything because of the high energy. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks with the new 2.0 merge. But apart from that as well, like I talked to a lot of brands about this like combination of the physical and the digital. Like they actually call a brand, they call it phygital.
Yeah.
And they, they'll give you like a real life asset with the NFT, right? So it's a digital version, and then you get like the shoe that you bought that's like an NFT, something like that. So it's a cross between both of the platforms. I think like really the whole concept is going to be a combination of physical and digital. There's not going to be just one or the other. Like we can't exist in the digital world without also having a physical version of ourselves. Like when you look at social media too, like from when it began, it started from like all of us having real life interactions and then wanting a digital presence. So we'd have like our real face on it on Instagram and on Facebook and MySpace, our real identity, just so we could connect with people in another way. Well, social media has kind of converged more into Web3, but people aren't really realizing it. Like now we're actually meeting people all over the world on social media through like filters that we have on social media. So it's not really our real selves. And then even there's a lot of people, like if you look at crypto Twitter, all the people in crypto Twitter have like an avatar, like have an NFT version of themselves, and they're conversing as that NFT, which essentially is an avatar. So like we're already kind of conversing in Web3, just the metaverse is more like a all-inclusive experience of that. It's like the next step.
Yeah, I think for me, that's going to make a big difference in the level of adoption and interest. I think when people know that that barrier has kind of been alleviated and moved aside, that more people are going to think more seriously about getting involved and investing. I think it's just going to be a really good example too for other coins that are coming into this space. So I think it's positive. I think we're moving in a positive direction, and I am starting to see more kind of coins and people announce that they are putting sustainability first. And I think actually with VCORE and Vcoin, which is another one that is under the MetaJuice umbrella, that there's things like zero gas fees, and that just in the way that they're built quite friendly, right?
Yeah. So so Bitcoin and VCORE will be on that same layer. So they'll both have zero gas fees for transactions on platform, which is massive. And that's a solution too, right? Like, so Ethereum evolving is really cool in itself, but it doesn't change all of these, what they call layer two solutions. It's like if you were on a massive train and it's like this Ethereum mainnet, like it's got millions of carts on, it's pulling a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to actually get the train going. But if you go and take your carts and you kind of put it on another train that kind of meets at another town, and then you go that way, you can actually go a lot faster with a lot less energy consumption. So that happens with these like layer two solutions. It's kind of like all different versions of that. Like maybe they're a hybrid, like a solar model or something, like there's different features in all these different solutions. And we've used a layers two solution to achieve the sustainability that we want. But, like as technology advances, we're going to get into a better place where, eventually you don't have to think about all these technological concepts, like you'll just be using the platform and not really care. It'll be seamless, it'll be low cost, it'll be efficient, and that's the goal.
Awesome. Yes. And it kind of brings me to my next question, which is around the involvement of banks as well as governments. And different countries are taking different approaches to crypto and regulation. And I'm curious what that means for holders and also what that might mean for the future of this space.
And we need global adoption and country regulation, right? Like in some degree, and we need to like keep up with it to see what's going on, adapt our policies, like how we're using the currency in that country. But using this is really key to getting mainstream. I mean, like once we have every country on board, a regulation kind of displayed in the US and in Canada and like key markets figured out, like this will actually get us to mainstream acceptance and like global acceptance, which is what we really need in the industry. Global acceptance would mean like you could take VCORE, purchase a house in Portugal, like you could take VCORE and buy gas in Thailand. Like there are so many things that you could actually do with a global currency that we just don't have, obviously, for regulation reasons, for country specific reasons, etc. I mean, VCORE itself, like when we launch VCORE, it will be available worldwide, but not in the US and Canada because of regulation reasons. So we'll eventually, like initially it won't be, but eventually it will be. And, like a reason why we're so, cautious on doing this is because of compliance and regulation and the way that each country is structured differently. And we want to make sure that when we're building VCORE that it's the most compliant token as humanly possible. So, it just really shows that we're in here for the long term. Like we're actually thinking about VCORE and sustainability as a whole and how we're going to work with the regulations to get there.
And I think overall, in general, it will be good for the reputation. I just did an interview for my podcast, XR Star, and the girl was saying that when she talks about Metaverse, some of her clients, and they're in architecture, engineering, and construction, associate it with kind of like a crypto scam or something. And they immediately get kind of like, oh, like,
well, yeah, because these projects don't care about compliance. Like when you care about compliance and actually like attending the laws of the countries that you're in and that you're based out of, like we're based out of Silicon Valley. We have to be very compliant, and it's good to see where those countries like are based of like the main project when you're looking at projects as well, because they have to abide by those certain regulations. That's why a lot of crypto projects are based in Malta and Switzerland and Singapore, because they're a little more lenient on those regulations. So they base the company there. They do a lot of global interactions, but they don't really target the US market. So we're kind of in the same regard, like we're in the US, so we have to be very, very, a lot more compliant than these other companies. But we also aren't targeting the US or Canadian residents, and they aren't allowed to purchase VCORE initially because of compliance reasons.
are you seeing any one country kind of leading in the crypto industry?
There's a lot. I don't think there's any one that's winning. I think that everyone's trying. I mean, when Bitcoin became a legal tender in El Salvador, I actually went down there and I worked with the administration, trying to help the banks kind of figure this out. So actually, like, I have firsthand a little bit of experience in this whole industry and like how are you going to make it work on a global scale. And like when they were building that wallet, like they were trying like Chivo wallet, it's like a Bitcoin wallet for all their citizens. So when they were building all these things out, like we were kind of in the center of it, which was really, really cool. We actually created the first Bitcoin or like crypto company in El Salvador, so like legally. So I was in the middle of a lot of that and it was really cool. But like, is El Salvador the number one country? I mean, I think it's up there. I think there's a lot of countries that are up there and progressing, but I think that countries that aren't accepting cryptocurrency and not prioritizing it are going to be lagged behind in innovation. So it's something that we all need to work at, and we are working at it. Even in the US, it's constantly being brought up. So I have high hopes.
Cool. Thank you. And wondering, what are some of the things that we can do with crypto today?
I think there's a lot of things people can do with crypto in general. So like even in like El Salvador, another example is the whole country can actually use Bitcoin for literally anything. Miami is actually setting up Bitcoin like mortgages. I think that's already in play. I can't exactly remember what the idea of that, but that's pulled a lot of crypto people to Miami. With VCORE specifically, I mean, we tapped into what the community needed in the metaverse, right? And what they wanted was true ownership of their assets, exclusive items on the platform they could kind of purchase. But the way that the platform is set up right now, it's really hard to show that true ownership, etc. kind of capability, and NFTs and VCORE allow that to happen a lot more easily. And they can actually have true ownership, highly exclusive items, and sell them on and off platform. And I mean, on VCORE as well, like on the metaverse, we're allowing people to actually shape how the metaverse is being built. So they're going to have kind of like a governance, like a voice for the first time in the metaverse and how it's built, like what we're going to prioritize moving forward. We already kind of do a lot of surveys on platform for users, but this actually gives them like a true vote, like a voting right with holding VCORE. And then another way that we're actually adding value is allowing people to earn within the metaverse. So by doing certain activities on platform and like holding a certain amount of VCORE, staking, a few other things that we're actually experimenting with right now, people will actually be able to earn more VCORE by participating in the metaverse ecosystem. So it's really cool, actually, like what you could do with VCORE and how much you're able to get out of the platform, like with a currency like VCORE.
It is really cool. And what's kind of the timeline for VCORE coming into market?
We're aiming at like the end of Q3, Q4, still to be determined on the actual public listing date. But we're constantly updating the community on our Discord server. So if anyone's interested, stay tuned.
This has been an awesome conversation. And if people would like to get in touch with you and get involved, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Well, we have an active community on the VCORE Global Discord server. You can only find VCORE on the Discord server for now. But if you want to talk about Metaverse tokens or partner with VCORE, you can also find me on Telegram as Crypto Claudia or Twitter as Crypto Cola, which is Claudia Olah. But my team likes to make fun of that because it's great.
It's really cute. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a few colleagues that are always like Crypto Claudia.
I like it. It has a good ring to it. Well, thank you, Crypto Claudia. And thank you all for tuning in and watching. And be sure to tune in to the next episode where we are going to be talking about inclusivity and diversity in the future of the metaverse. Take care.